Alright, now I'm doing the trade recap outside on my phone because currently I'm in the city. I opened my position later and I decided, you know what, instead of, panicking at home or allow the emotions to override the rational mind, I just decided to go outside because I was like pretty, I had conviction on this one. Anyways, I had few trades where I got stopped out or I was like closing before it because, I was a bit unsure or I just wanted to secure some profits a bit because it's been like a lot of ping pong the past few days on this account because the first days I needed to spend time to get rid of the fear, which was today successful. Now there was still some of it left because you can see how I was trading, but because from the previous days I was able to get bit by bit off of it. Um, Today I was able to finally take a trade. So yeah, the first trade I think was on gold. Um, but as I mentioned, I closed it later, and then later accidentally I opened at a level where I did not want to. So I put the order limits at the level where I was entering before. So I was like, because okay, when I close it right now, I'm just going to lose money because it was going down already. So I'm just going to be patient. Open another limit order at the level where I was entering off, or actually a new level, which is slightly below it where I entered off. So long story short, I tried to long crude oil. Now, the thing is, I didn't really got a very clean setup overall. Now, we have here, as you can see, the sweep right there. Besides that, we have here in the 50 minutes a breaker block, which seems to be respected overall. Now, we have the wicks below that. Now, I kind of have to do my research if wicks, if they actually go below it or above it from a breaker block level, if it's going to be some sort of invalidated. Anyways, we had to the breaker block. It was a kind of, some kind of support level if you want so, but it's not very clean, so I'm not going to, recognize it as one. But with the sweep, I got stepped out. I had a larger position on it, 4 contracts on that. And yeah, I got stepped out, so the loss was pretty much bigger. So with the gold trade, I hope to be able to compensate it. Now, on the gold one, it was like relatively not that complicated. I decided to close it earlier from the previous London highs from last week on Friday, just to secure some profits because we don't want to be greedy. And as you can see, we had some few spikes, like a consolidation, of course, how we could expect it from this, pretty large distribution, which was being expected because, on Friday, off markets came the news that the Iran regime is gone. So yeah, it was kind of clear that oil and gold is going to rise and Nasdaq is pretty much going to fall. All right, now long story short, on gold, we had here a very clean break of structure, a very, very clean, uncomplicated one. We have also the 1 hour huge Farrell gap, and when we scale down, we have here a breaker block, and in combination to the breaker block, we have a 5 minutes, right there, Farrell gap, but at this point, it's a bit too weak in my opinion because it's just like in the middle of a distribution show. So I rather take, the order block right there on the bottom. Now, the first time, and it wasn't even touching the order block. The next time it did. As you can see, it was going below it, so it was getting to this order block. And here was my order, like literally here was my stop loss for both positions. So I nearly got subbed out. But this manipulation, fortunately, did not stop me out. Then I was kind of waiting. I was slowly consolidating to the upside. And then London session open, it just dropped to the downside, and my position was right there. And yeah, now I was a bit like it was a bit scary, but I wasn't too concerned. Why? Because this was like literally the London manipulation, a bit more aggressive one to be honest. Like this immediate, but it's cool so far. And then after that, climb to the upside again, and I'm pretty sure it's going to close right here, like going above the Asia highs, take out the Asia highs. But I just decided to actually close it early because again, I wanted to secure the profits and also to be above break even with the previous loss I took, which was I think $300, and this one was also a bigger win because yeah, as I mentioned, because I accidentally opened here, like really accidentally, and I had to then later a buy limit resting here, was like max contract size I'm allowed to trade. So with this trade, not only I was able to recover from the loss, but also to be finally in the green area. Yeah, 1/3 of the profit target, as you can see, or almost or close to 1/3. And yeah, this is actually pretty convenient for me so far because the previous days it was like pretty much ping pong. But again, the purpose of that was like to kind of get rid of the fear because new environment, completely new environment regarding futures, these evals and how they behave because the futures prop firms are like pretty much different with all the rules and anything else. Well, of course, there are also rules on the forex prop firms, but it's slightly different. And still, like I was kind of always a bit pitiful about that until I changed my mind. But yeah, so far, um, a good day. A bit a choppy start from my side. But again, it wasn't. It was not really that unexpected. But as I could see, it pays off that I was able to still, to certain mind to keep my chill, or at least to take the previous days as a sort of data point, as lesson again to kind of train my nervous system. And yeah, as I also mentioned, it's going to take pretty much way less time compared when I started with that overall, because I've been through it almost in a year, less than a year, the forex, the fear and stuff like that, and to not allow the emotions to override my rational mind for too long. So the velocity, as I mentioned, seems like, at least for today, be actually faster. But yeah, now no need to rest on the win. Of course, I'm going to go off the markets and enjoy my day. But still being aware because mistakes are always possible. But what matters is to actually take your lesson out of it. With that being said, cheers.